From the bottom, I'm up now, got about the checks. We taking them flights now, and we cutting checks. Better word in my sights now, haters watch me flex. We hit they necks, lock 'em up, full court press. I'm going for gold.
Welcome to Outside the Ring. I'm here with co-host Shammy Snapshot and with our guest, the Black Diamond Jack Price.
Hey,
So, how'd you get started into this world of wrestling?
how I got started. So I started back in 2009, and then I walked into this bar, uh, and there was wrestling going on inside the bar, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on here?" And so I'm a wrestling fan, so I sat down, bought a ticket, and watched. It was pretty intriguing to get into the business. So I talked to the promoter. His name was Jason Klaus, and he was running the promotion of Michigan Wrestling Organization. And so I got in it and did all the training, and I started off as a referee. And then a year after that, so I really started wrestling in 2010, but I started in the business in 2009. But
Mhm.
and then I've been in ever since, grinding and grinding.
How'd you come up with this ring name of Jack Price?
That's funny because everybody played a video game, the wrestling video game. So I was
Mhm.
playing a video game and I was creating a wrestler and I named him Jack Price. So I said, hey, if I ever become a wrestler, that will be my name, Jack Price, and so when I met the promoter when it was time for me to wrestle, he's like, hey, you have a name? And I'm like, yep, I sure do. Jack Price. They're like, oh, that got a good ring to it, whatever, whatever. But yeah, so I stuck with Jack Price just from creating a character on a video game.
I remember those days, man. SmackDown on PS2, and you got to get like I used to be with my friends. We was like, yeah, man, because everybody like just from watching it, you kind of like, yeah, I would love to do that, but you don't. It's for fun right there, but you don't understand how the work ethic that goes into it until you see others out there getting at it. So it's
Yeah,
fun when
nah.
you create your player, but when you got like how you said you just told people, like, yeah, my name's gonna be Jack Price. Like
Yeah,
you actually took it from a creative player,
exactly.
and you're that creative player now. So
Exactly. That's crazy. Yes, that's true, man. And like you said, it's fun at the time, and like you never think like you'd be like I never thought I'd become a wrestler. I always liked wrestling, but I
Mhm.
never knew I never knew it was an independence, like an indie scene. I never knew that. I thought it was just WWE, WCW, and you got to go there to become a wrestler. But I never knew it was an indie scene. So when, like I said, I seen that wrestling promotion in a bar, and I was just shocked. I'm like, man, what the heck going on? Like, it's wrestling here. And then I was introduced to the indie scene, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. But that's funny, bringing a creative character to like, yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Mhm.
so like as far as like when it comes to you know making it to there, like what like besides making a creative player, like was there anybody specific during that time frame of you actually like playing the video games and tuning in to Monday nights and things like that? Was there anybody in particular that like gave you that inspiration that you said, you know what, I'm gonna mold myself, not completely be like them, but I want to be where they are? Like who was that particular person?
So, so I'll give you my top five. So my
I'll say, you know
number.
what? See, you already beat me to the punch because I was gonna come. I told Mav I was gonna ask, like, all right, give me your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so my Mount Rushmore. It's Arn Anderson, uh, The Rock, Rey Mysterio, the like the WCW version of Rey Mysterio. That's who I to answer that first question. That's who got me tuned in on Monday nights was Rey Mysterio, and and then Eddie Guerrero, and those so Rock, Eddie, and Ray was the main like I knew Arn Anderson is my favorite wrestler, but I grew up watching them like from a little kid, like with my granddad, because my granddad introduced me to wrestling, and then that's the wrestling I was watching, the like NWA type, all that wrestling. But when I got old enough to watch it, then I came in with the Monday Night Wars, and but Rey Mysterio and Eddie, those was my dudes, and then The Rock and on Raw. That was my guy. So those would be my top four. I don't have a fifth, and I always say my top five, and I never have a fifth,
Fifth.
and it's just and I always got those four, and but for the Mount Rushmore, it'll be those four. So yeah. So if you see my style a little bit, like back in the day, I can do the Rey Mysterio stuff.
Mm.
Right now, I can probably still do the Rey Mysterio stuff, but I just don't do it.
Oh yeah, I definitely get it. It's like once you get to that, it's like I I want to try, but it's like do I still got? I mean, but even then, I mean, I've seen like I told Mav, I seen you one time when I started doing some photography with SCW. I had seen, and I was like, yo, dude came in here like the charisma and everything was just on point, and then it's just like to turn around and see you, with your TNA run. It's like I was thinking to myself, like, dude, I just had photos of this guy from SCW, and then I turn around and he's here. I'm like, just to see that scene in Michigan, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like to see that, it's just like it's crazy how things can jump around. It's like you see these guys working, and it shows you like people put their heart and soul into it, and they stay dedicated. Like I've seen so many people like, yeah, man, I want to do this. It's easier said than done. Like you can
Right,
say you want to do this until you get the right school or the right coaches, and that first day makes you not even want to go back.
right.
So a lot
You
of people
ain't
don't
lying.
make it, but it's just like
Yeah.
so when it comes to like doing that, like what aspect of wrestling since you've been doing it has been like or what you consider the most challenging?
Hmm. Um. The most challenging. I don't know if it's wrestling related, but it's wrestling related. If that makes sense. But like
Mm.
the most challenging is traveling. Like uh, like when I first got in. Like my oldest daughter, she an adult right now, but at the time, when I first got in, she was like four. When I say '09, so yeah, she was
Mm.
like 4 or 5, and but I wasn't traveling like that. And then
Yeah,
it was all right. And then as I got older, and then now I have three more younger daughters. Now it's harder now than it was back then because like I'm here, but it's what I'm saying when I travel, it's kind of like they. But when they see me on TV, they happy, like oh daddy, all that. But um, when I come home, they happy to see me. Back then I didn't have a wife. Now I got a wife, so it's kind of like, so it's like it's real different. But my wife is very understanding of what I want to do. Like she had never put it like she'd never make me choose of like between whatever in wrestling. She came into the relationship. I was wrestling, and she like I know that's what you love. So that's cool of her. But I think the traveling is the most challenging, and then the lack of sleep. Like you don't when it's show day, you barely sleep when it's what I'm saying, and it's just like and then you just wired up. Coffee or whatever you choose to wire up, and but yeah, I think that my most challenging, I think, is the traveling.
Mm.
Okay.
Is there any advice that you have gotten from a vet in the business or even someone that's been doing it longer than you, whether that's from the indie scene or your run in TNA?
Oh yeah. So coming into it, it was always to shut up and listen to the vet you're in the ring with,
Mhm.
or a veteran. Period. Just shut up and listen. So out of all my training though, that always stuck out to me. Like
Mhm.
listen and make your opponent look like a $1 million. For some reason, they're the main two things that stuck out of everything my trainer taught me and all that, and it worked out. And then nowadays, a lot of green guys, they don't do it. They don't listen,
Mhm.
and they don't. It's all about themselves a lot of time instead of like helping their opponent get over as well. You know what I mean? Um, So that's the biggest advice that I took and the biggest advice that I've given to people. So
Mhm.
just shut up and listen. And always it's not about you, it's about us. So let's do this.
Mhm.
Okay. So, with that being said, as far as like the training and shutting up and listen, you take all of that and you getting prepared for these matches. Like when it's a big match for you, like how do you prepare for that, like mentally and then as well as physically? Like you don't have to get your complete regimen, but like what do you do? Everybody has, you got your Tom Brady's might have something they do. You got Rock, The Rock might have something he does. Like what is it that the Diamond does that's just
uh
different? The Black Diamond does is different, or that what gets him amped up and ready for this big match?
Man, that's a good question. Like I just get in the zone, and just try not to like blank out, you know what I mean? And so when I'm going over the matches, so for example, like uh like I know I'm good, but sometimes I psych myself out, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I don't like to mess up. I'm a perfectionist to a point, and like I don't like to mess up. So so last night, for example, I had a match with Orlando Christopher, and when I was coming into business, Orlando was my vet. Even though I'm older than Orlando, but Orlando been in the business way longer than me. He started when he was like 15 types uh age. And I started when I was 24. But anyways, I used to ride around with him and Nate Matson. Those was my two veterans when I came into
Mhm.
the business. So last night's match was like me and Orlando wrestle a lot of times, but not
Mhm.
we haven't wrestled as me now. You know what I'm saying? Like as the mature me. We wrestled when I was coming in and younger, but me now we never wrestled 1-on-1. So that this match meant something to me as far as like me. I can show him that you taught me what I know. To be honest, you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
He molded me into the wrestler that I am, and so it was
Kind of
cool
like
to
Sensei a grasshopper.
yeah,
Yeah.
so a lot of people don't know that, and all I was doing was shutting up and listening on those car rides, and I was just was taking it in like a sponge and incorporating it with my style of wrestling, and
Mhm.
but so for that match, for last night's match, I was just, calm, just not don't overthink. That's a lot of people's part. They overthink things, and then once they get out in the ring, they forget a lot of stuff. You like, damn, all that. But so I listen to a lot of 50 Cent and a lot of Justin Timberlake. That's what calms me down and get me motivated and ready for a match. Uh like the night before, I can't sleep. I'm always up when I don't supposed to be up, and it's just like
Mhm.
uh I guess I'm just anxious for the match, and just to think of the ideas we can come up with. But so last night I was just listening to 50 Cent, and he just got me, calm. I was just cool. I had the match in my head. He was smooth. Uh, I broke it down so I can remember it easily. And it went off good. We got a good reaction. A lot of people came to us like, "Hey, man, that was a great match," that type of stuff. So that's good. Even though we cut a lot of stuff out, we had like a 15 to 20 minute uh time
Mhm.
match that we
Okay.
planned, but we ended up having 8 to 10 minutes, so we had to cut a lot of stuff out, and we still made it happen and made it look good. So, but to answer the question, it's a 50 Cent and Justin Timberlake. They always get me in my mood.
Okay. Okay. And then like so with that, you said this is what you do to amp you up and get you prepared. Now here's where it comes to on the indie scene. What was your most memorable match? And then for TNA, what was your most memorable match?
On an indie scene, um, when I first started with the Michigan Wrestling Organization, it was a wrestler that went by the name of APOC Apocalypse, and after the organization folded, he just he just stopped wrestling, kind of, and well, really, he just stopped wrestling, but.
Mhm.
He was 300 pounds. He was about like he might have been like 350. He was up there, and at the time I was about like 170. So yeah. So we was having battles. I'm talking about like battles, and like that was my most memorable on the indie scene. Like we had cage matches. I'm doing backflips off the cage. He moving out the way. I'm hitting the bow. I'm picking him up on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Man,
and a lot of people are like, man, wrestling fake. And like, even though you know what I'm saying, he was about a good 320, but even though even if he does jump and help me pick him up, I
Mhm.
still gotta hold him up. You know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
like that's a lot of goddamn weight, but I was. And I'm doing everything I'm talking about at 170. So it was like he brought out the best of me, and I really appreciate him for that.
Mhm.
Uh, and it made me realize that, like, okay, maybe I can do this. And then once I ventured out, uh, it was again. It was like, man, I always psych myself up when I get in new environments, and like I'd be like, man, I don't belong here. And then once I get in the ring and start doing stuff, I'm like, man, that was easy. But so I got to stop psyching myself out. But on the indie scene, it was Apocalypse. Like
Mhm.
that was the guy. In TNA, my most memorable was with Kevin Knight. He's with AEW right now, but Kevin Knight. So we had a match, and our agent of the match was Gail Kim at the time, and so we had like a 9 minute match. It was on Explosion, and we had a 9 minute match. So she was like, "Go out there and kill it." So we had a good 60-40 type match, and we went out there and did our thing, and then the crowd started chanting "Fight Forever." This is awesome. Jack Price, Kevin. I'm talking about like this was a main event at WrestleMania type. You know what I mean? Like it made me feel good. And then so after that having that match, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for anybody, you know.
Yeah,
Anybody can get this, you know what I'm saying? But that was just most memorable, just to have that match on that stage of that magnitude, and having that reaction of the crowd. So it was like, oh yeah, I can do this, you know what I mean? And once again, I
Mhm.
was psyching myself out because Kevin Knight was just having bangers with people. And then once I got paired up with him, I'm like, man, I don't want to mess up his momentum. And then I don't want to mess up,
yeah,
and then they see me mess up, then they might not. Jack ain't who we think. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of stuff goes through my head, and I gotta stop. I do it every time. It don't matter. It don't matter what level or where I'm at. Every match, I get nervous. I get so nervous, and I don't know why. I get nervous, but once my music hit, it's a wrap. I gotta go out there. I'm here now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I gotta do what I gotta do. But on the Indies, it'll be Apocalypse, and then on TNA, it'll be Kevin Knight.
How did you and Aaron get to forming DTA?
DTA. So I met Aaron O'Ryan at that promotion, MWO. I met him.
Mhm.
I met him there. And like, so when I came in, he was leaving out kind of, because he was going to the army, and so he
Mhm.
was stationed in Georgia. I think it was Savannah, but I know it was Georgia though. But he was stationed in Georgia. We kept in touch. You know, he was like a veteran to me as well. I send him my matches. What you think? Just to get his critiques, all that. And so he was coming back home. So while in Georgia, he already formed DTA with a guy named Jamie, and so Aaron was coming home, and he wanted to bring that same vibe back home. So he was like, "Hey, let's start DTA," and I'm like, "Cool." So
Mhm.
I was just in the group. So it was DTA, and then the DTA it wasn't Misfits. It was DTA Midwest. So he was making it like a territory. So yeah.
Mhm.
So it was DTA then DTA Midwest. So I was at first part of DTA Midwest, and then he formed DTA with uh his buddy Christopher Saint. So they was DTA, and then so I was just a part of it. And then um they had their little run, and then they fell off. And then one day, Orlando Christopher, uh he was working for Big Tom down in Ohio, in Lima, Ohio, for War Wrestling. So he emailed me, or not emailed me. He messaged me, and and was like, "Hey, Tom is looking for a two babyface tag team. Can you and Aaron do it?" Me and Aaron never tagged at this point. We was right on it because we wanted to get into that promotion. We like, yeah. He like, all right, be here tomorrow, whatever time. So we got some gear made like quick. We get down there. So me and Aaron knew each other as far as wrestlers, like, because we went against each other a lot. So we
Mhm.
like, this should be easy. And I'm not a tag team guy at the time. I hated tag team wrestling. I did not understand it. I didn't like it. I didn't get it. I'm just like, man, this ain't gonna work. But Aaron, he's a tag team specialist. That's his forte. Like, that's what he do. And I'm like,
Mhm.
all right. So we get there, and they loved us. I was like, man, this was easier than I thought. And they loved us. And from that day, it was Aaron and I just, now we DTA.
Mhm.
Now Christopher Saint is out the picture, and now it's me and Aaron, and we DTA, and we took over the Indies with the tag team division. Like, we were like, I ain't trying to blow no smoke, but we was one of the top tag teams in the Midwest.
Mhm.
And now I got to think again. That was all because of Orlando Christopher. You know.
Going back to Orlando Christopher, last night at XIC Dub, you beat him. You're
Yes,
U.S. champ.
yes. Man, that felt good, man. That United States title got a lot of history, and that's a big time title for in XICW. Like the Iron Sheik held it. Uh, I think Sweet Daddy held. You know what I mean? And it was
Mhm.
some other legendary wrestlers that held that title, and it was a honor to be able to capture that title, and like my buddy Aaron Orion, he was champ. Orlando Christopher, he was champ, and those two guys, and that meant something to me because those two guys is who molded me to who I am. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
to be in category as those guys with this championship, man, it's amazing.
See, like I told Mav, I'm in so I'm in AZ, and I've been kind of looking around, different territories and things like that. And I was just telling him like, if I ever see any of the guys up there come down here in AZ and duels, I have to. So if the Black Diamond is ever in Phoenix or something in one of these promotions, I'm there.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
definitely
oh
there.
yeah. Uh, I would be. I love to come to Arizona to do some promotions, to do some stuff. So yeah, if it ever happened, or if you know of a promotion, let me know, and then I send them something like, "Hey, you looking for somebody? Let me let
I
me
know
get
they
you."
I've been looking at this Arizona Wrestling Federation. They just recently had something uh, yesterday where well, Elena Black, formerly Cora Jade, they had her there. She just won a woman's title, and I had reached out to him, but of course, due to like the scheduling and everything, it was like last minute when they reached out. Like, hey, and that's another thing. Like, because I do the photography part, so it's like when y'all reach out, it's like, well, I got a little girl, and she's not even one, so it's like you kind
Mm,
of got to catch me ahead of time, yeah, because
right,
it's hard to move, when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, I try to stay and look at everything because I feel like seeing the indie pro wrestling scene is where everybody got their start. Everybody thinks, like you said, they think it's just when we were growing up watching wrestling, it's like we thought it was just WWE and WCW, and you just get right in. But it's not. It's more to it. So just to see those guys come up and see guys like you come from where you came and be able to be on a big stage, it's like wow, this the hard work paid off, and you're
right.
still going for it. So like
Hmm.
with that hard work paying off, and you still got your momentum, you still going. Who would be your top? I say top five opponents that you would look to face before the Black Diamond ever hangs up. Who are your top five that you would look to face?
Man, that's a good one. I would love to wrestle Speedball Mike Bailey. I would love to wrestle him. I would like to wrestle. Um, hold on, I'm trying. Eddie Edwards. Every match he was in, I was watching it. He just so good. So we got Mike Bailey, Eddie Edwards. Uh, I just seen somebody. I was just on a loop last week, and I seen somebody. I was like, oh, I love to wrestle him. And I can't think of who it is. So I love to wrestle my guy Jason Hotch. He stepped it up a lot. Like I love to wrestle him one more time. And this hard. Two more. Hmm.
Nice one, Shammy, making him think.
Let me see. Two more people. Josh Alexander. I like to wrestle him. and I like the Russell Ali, uh, Mustafa
Okay.
Ali. Yeah, I like the Russell him.
You know
That's
what?
that's
Like
that.
I can see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I like that.
could definitely see it. And I would love to see that and see what they got like going on right now. Like something like that whole everything is going on. Like I would love to see that though. Like Mustafa
Mhm.
Ali.
Yeah,
You might be onto something. I mean, hey, look, you might be onto
right,
something.
right. Yeah,
If I
I
turn
love
around and
it.
see this coming up, oh yeah,
Yes,
I'm gonna be
sir.
like, yep.
Yeah, that'll be
Let me get my ticket and
Which,
yeah, that'll be cool.
how'd you come up with your moniker, the Black Diamond?
The Black Diamond, man, the moniker was so hard, and like with the moniker, you gotta let it come to you. Like you can't just
Mhm.
come up with anything. It gotta mean something, and it has to be you. Like if you say the Nature Boy, you know who I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You don't
Mhm.
even gotta say Ric Flair. You know what I mean? So you know who I'm talking about. Well, it depends on who you're talking to. Some people might be like Buddy Rogers. Like, nah, that ain't who I'm talking about. But uh, but it got to mean something. So with that, it's funny because all I did was I was just looking in the dictionary, and I was just in the dictionary just looking at. I'm just going down every name, and then Black Diamond popped up, and then the meaning of Black Diamond is what got me. It was just like something very rare, and when you see it, you were in awe because you've never seen it before. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me, because I'm the quiet type, but I let my wrestling speak for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So once I get in the ring, people are like, "Man, you so smooth, man. You so like you just everything is just smooth." Blah. I'm like, yeah, that's what I aim to do, but I'm just like, oh man, that's it. So I'm like the Black Diamond Jack Price, and then everybody was like, yeah, that's a good name. And once I started using that name, it's like it helped me build my confidence in a sense. And that's who you got now, the Black Diamond, Jack Price.
look when look I honestly like the first time when they SCW had that their event in Taylor and you came there and I'm like okay the Jack Price I'm like the Black Diamond I'm like is this dude in my mind like this dude got to be related to Cedric Alexander because I'm like they kind of favor I'm like this Cedric Alexander's brother or something like I thought like I literally thought y'all was like related because I'm like he could have been under another you know what I'm saying but I was like
Right, right.
they kind of I'm like okay this but then it was like once they explained to me like okay and like I told Mav I got invited to it was I think it was like 23 I got invited in October of 23 to TNA in Chicago and
Hmm.
Bravo had invited and that was my first time ever actually being there at TNA and I was like yo this is dope like just to see because it's like I want to be a photographer, not necessarily being ran by the business, but kind of have still be my freelance self, but just know what the business entails.
Right,
And just to see like everything that, they want you, everybody has to have hands in on everything. Nobody, it's no standing around. It's no, everybody has to help to make those events go like they need to go. So just to see how everybody, it showed me like it's just when the door hits you with a good Lord splits you. You can go ahead and
right.
leave out, but there's always somebody else waiting outside that door to have that same opportunity
You ain't lying.
that you were given. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like wow, like to see all of that is, and you live in proof that you're doing things, you still moving, and it's funny to see some the newbies come in and they're like, oh yeah, I can do the okay. until you have a vet that shows you something. Then you're saying the next day, like they're like, where does this guy go? He ain't
Mm-hmm.
sure he had to show back up. So
Right.
yeah, just to see all of that, like so it's like what advice would you give to, I would say, what would you give to those type of people who are trying to do it and really want to take it seriously, not the ones who clown around?
Hmm.
Man, I'll just say, be patient. You know what I mean? Just be patient. Take and learn your craft and study the game. You know what I mean? You want to be at your A plus when it's time for that tryout, or if you if you want to be seen type stuff. And with saying that, always be at your best, because you never know who watching, because you might not think they watching, but they are watching. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm living proof of that, because I just been through some things, and I'm like, you seen that? And he like, yeah. And I'm like, what the heck, you know? So I'm like, so I know they watch. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
but with that conversation, it took me off guard, because I was like, I gotta watch what I be. Like, I gotta watch what I be talking about, you know. But
Yeah,
uh, but they watching, so always be on your p's and q's. Um, perfect your craft. Try to figure out your character, because all wrestling is now is character work, and like it's wrestling, but you see a lot of characters getting over now. Like you got my guy Joe Hendry. Like
Hmm.
he can wrestle, you know what I'm saying? But if he didn't have that character, he wouldn't be like the superstardom that he got now. And I'm not knocking him. Like he got signed when I got signed, so like I seen him grind. Like I seen him working on it, and like, but he got that character over, and like, but the character is money. You know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
was like I said, I just did a loop in Pittsburgh like a week ago, and it's people in the crowd dressing like him, and I'm like, man, this dude is over. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
yeah. I don't know what happened. It just clicked right on out. I was like,
I was like, wow. But yeah, but like Joe Hendry, he got that character over, man. He got people in the crowd dressing like him. He got people singing his song. And a fun fact with his song, he made that song 10 years ago, and it's just now getting popped. You know what I mean? And so it's crazy. Like he legit really been on this grind for a long time, and I think he been in the business the same
I'm
amount.
not gonna hold you up. That his theme song. I'm not gonna hold you up. Like my fiance got pissed because every like anytime I just pop out of nowhere, like say his name, and she's like, just stop. And it's to the point that I end up making it a text tone
Oh
on my
wow.
iPhone, and every time I'm like, well, I'm like, look, because it was so catchy. Because at first I used to hear people, and I'm like, bro, like what? I'm like, what is that?
Hmm.
And when I started hearing them, like, yeah, man, that's annoying. But then it stuck on me. And I was like, no, it's not annoying anymore. Like it got to the point to where it's not annoying. It's like
Yeah.
actually funny because
Right.
you can make other people mad because they get, and then here you go. They're all singing it too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Mav been caught himself singing it a few times.
Hmm.
Yeah.
um,
Oh yeah.
but that's what gets over. The If it's annoying, oh, it's getting over. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And but yeah, that's so funny because I did the same thing. Like this is so annoying, you know. But it got me.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you want to sing along to it to annoy somebody else with it, you know. If I had to go through it, you
I
got to
mean,
go
hey,
through it.
oh yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, but that's the advice. Just be patient. Work on your character development. and be ready when it's time to be ready. You know what I mean? So so like my contract ended in March of this year, and then but now I'm back on my grind because I'm trying to get back in there next year. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so now I got time to work on my craft, work on my character, and be ready whenever they make that call. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So now I'm in a position where I have to be ready no matter what,
Yeah.
because you never know when they might need you. You know what I'm saying? A storyline can come up at any time now, so and they might be
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, Jack Price would be good for this, and then I gotta be ready, so
Hmm.
I can't slack on in no area. So um
It's that old saying where you stay ready so you never have to get ready.
exactly, exactly, man.
So you got anything else, Matt? You
Oh yeah, and oh wait, here's one more.
uh
Oh, did Black Diamond come with Jack Price? Did that come later on?
Uh, so did the black? So
The-
when I first came up with Jack Price, did I have the Black Diamond?
when you started wrestling as Jack Price, was a moniker attached, or that come
Right.
later on in your career?
No, that came later on in my career. Yeah, that came like in the middle of my career because I felt like I needed to change. Like, cause I'm like, man, I've been Jack Price forever. I got to figure out something to stand out, and that's when I came up with the moniker. And because Aaron Orion had a moniker, and I was like, dang, that's hard. His moniker was the Vehicle City villain, Aaron Orion. And I was like, hey, that's kind of dope. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I need something like that to stand out. And then I came out with the Black Diamond, and then that just, I'm like that shoot shot me up. Like a lot of people started paying attention, because I guess, like I said, my confidence grew, and like
Hmm.
I was more comfortable in the ring. It was weird, uh, but yeah, it came at a later time.
Hmm. You said you don't be doing any more of that flippy stuff. I see you with your finisher doing handsprings.
Hey, that's the only one that I can do, like that I will feel comfortable doing. Like
Hmm.
the other stuff, like I still do the frog splash. That's not really a flippy, but I do
Hmm.
that. I used to do and I kind of want to do it, like bring it back. But do a backflip over the ropes. So like you hit the ropes, do a round off, a roundhouse, whatever you want to call it. I call it cartwheel, but do a cartwheel and then backflip over the ropes. Like I used to do that, and like I'm like, man, I think I can still do that. It's one of those things. Like
Hmm.
I gotta see if I can still do it. If
Hmm.
I mess up, it'll still be all right because people can boo me or whatever. But if I hit it, then they be like, damn. But so one of these matches,
yeah.
I'm gonna bring it out.
Well, I definitely, I know you say you gonna, stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready, but I mean, Math could probably agree. We want to see we want to see, go back at TNA Impact, and then I want to see some gold. I want to see the Black Diamond
Yes, sir.
holding some gold at TNA. I
Hey
want to
man,
see that.
that's gonna be the goal. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Right now, I'm not saying they didn't like me. Like my contract ended. It
Hmm.
didn't end because they didn't like me and like didn't want to re-sign me. I want to get that out there. It just expired. But right now, at this time, the roster is heavy right now.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got NXT guys coming over.
Yeah.
They putting them in a program and all that. So the roster is heavy right now. And like I had to sit down with Tommy Dreamer. We had our discussion, and Tommy like, I like you. You know what I'm saying? Like blah blah blah. And he like basically just be ready when I call you. So he gave me a good understanding. So like even though I'm not signed right now, I believe it's gonna come. And then, but he
Yeah,
still want to call me in to do matches. So even though I'm not under contract, he
yeah,
still call me in to still perform. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool of him.
yeah,
But that's the goal. So right now I'm on the Indies. Like I said, I'm getting ready to be ready. Um, I'm out to prove that you can invest in me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
last night I won the like I said, the United States title.
Hmm.
Just my first singles title in a minute, and I'm ready to wrestle anybody who want to step up, and I'm about to show everybody that like, hey man, Jack Price still got it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I'll be
yeah.
40 in August. You know what I'm saying? Might not seem like it. But but I'll be 40 in August, but I don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just want if I'm in a ring with a 20-year-old, 30, it don't matter what age. I'm gonna show y'all like, hey, if you get in the ring with Jack Price, you better bring it. You know what I mean? Like he ain't holding back, you know.
Oh yeah.
And with that, that's all we got. Thank you for your
Hey.
time.
We
No problem.
appreciate you coming on here. This is the Mav. This is gonna be the season 2 for
Okay.
outside the ring. So like I told him, he just got me on as a co-host. It was you know an honor to be able to do that. Nobody's ever asked me to do that. I'm just friendly, like I said, friendly neighborhood photographer. So that's what I do. I do my thing. I
Right.
catch the moments that people want, but to be able to be on this particular episode, like I told him, I'm definitely appreciative of that because I seen what you did. You go on the indie scene, and then to have, so this definitely was an honor to have you on here. The
Uh,
Black Diamond himself.
hey, hey, thanks for having me though, man. I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, you definitely enjoy your evening, man.
All right, man. Y'all too, man.
Thank
Later.
you, thank you.